let's get into our mock draft here, and then what you can do is you can use that home phone. You can call in who you think you're going to be making these picks for. So let's start with number 1. We have Dallas Goodman. They're on the clock. Is something crazy happen here? Are we going to see him take Trey Johnson number 1? Could Knippel find a way to sneak his way?
No, Cooper Flagg. Let's move on. Let's move on here. Dallas takes Cooper Flagg number 1. San Antonio, if they keep the pick, they take Dylan Harper at number 2. Let's start at number 3 here, where it gets
no matter what happens, that's going to be the top 2 picks in the draft. So Philadelphia at number 3. They were what, the 5th most likely team to end up getting the number 1 overall pick. They got Joel Embiid, who is looks like a walking corpse, and they got Paul George, who might be the most ridiculous contract I've ever seen in the history of the NBA. And I say that as somebody who has a son that's a diehard Sixers fan at this point and doesn't quite understand why they're why they're
you don't
so
like
bad.
Daryl Morey? Wait, you don't like Daryl Morey? I
actually like Daryl. I actually really like Daryl Morey. I don't.
He plays Stratomatic. Did you ever play Stratomatic basketball?
I actually did.
You're too old.
No, I played Stratomatic baseball.
All right. There was a basketball version. I think Daryl Morey just brings out the Stratomatic and just like, all right, like let me try to see like who I can get the piece, because there's no way he looks at how the fit when he puts together a team. There's no chance Daryl Morey ever thinks about the fit of these guys together.
I don't know. I got nothing to say about that. All I know is that it did not work this year. So if you are the Philadelphia 76ers and you have an aging Joel Embiid and you have an aging PG-13, Jared McCain's a nice piece. Like, what are you doing here if you are the 76ers?
I mean, I don't want to do this, but I feel like you have to go Ace Bailey. I don't love it, but man, I love his natural ability. I love his ability to make tough, contested, incredible shots. He is a long, versatile wing. Kind of looks a little bit like Paul George. But man, this dude can really, really make shots, whether it's threes, whether it's turnarounds, whether it's shots with hands in his face, whatever it is, and he's electric in the getting up and down the court. Like, I just don't trust him. Is that fair, Rob? Like, you just don't know what you're going to get out of Ace Bailey. But I think if you're Philly, you can't miss on a guy like this with his potential upside. So I think you have to take him.
I don't know if I am the Sixers, I am trading this pick. I'm shopping this pick. And
you could try, but like it doesn't have a ton of value, Rob. Like
I know
everybody could say that.
I know it doesn't,
we're not going to play the game of I'm going to trade this pick because we're going to make you take somebody. I'm
going to trade the pick.
You're going to take somebody. You can't trade it. You went around the league and you weren't able to get value, and now you're on the clock and you have to take somebody at number 3. Who are you taking?
It's not going to be Ace Bailey. I honestly, I don't think that I don't love anybody here. I would honestly consider reaching for Knippel at the 3rd pick. I honestly would. I don't.
Because
out of
safe.
The 3 big wings, yes, out of the 3 big wings, I think I like Trey Johnson the most out of those 3. I don't love Ace. I don't think Ace Bailey is going to end up being a winning basketball player. I think that he is a guy that's a lot of empty calories.
Disagree.
I'm not convinced.
He can I don't disagree.
I don't see the
he's got the highest upside.
No, I don't agree with that. Actually, I think that Trey Johnson has a higher upside as a scorer. I think Ace Bailey is a guy that going to average 20 points for a couple seasons in the NBA, and he's going to do it on teams that win 23 games. I don't think that he's going to be a guy that's going to come in and be an impact winning the way that you need somebody to impact winning. I don't think he can play off the bounce. I don't think he knows what he's doing defensively. He weighs 203 pounds at 6'7.5". Like he is not Paul George.
Can Paul George help him defensively at least? Can he help him? I don't know. And again, I don't love it, but I don't love Trey Johnson here. I don't love Knippel here. I don't love VJ Edgecombe here. We can go with Ace Bailey for this pick just for the sake of moving on, because you seem a lot more. Who are you going with though? Who are you going with?
I just said I would probably, if I have to take this pick for the Sixers, I'm probably taking Trey Johnson. But I don't. Okay. I am trying to use this as a way to move something, move salary, add assets, move down to the draft, find somebody that absolutely loves Ace Bailey and see if I can move it. But we'll go with
Good
Ace
luck.
Bailey just for the sake of this pick. Charlotte
Okay.
Hornets picking number 4.
This is easy. This is super easy.
Okay.
This is the easiest pick other than Cooper Flagg we're going to have in the lottery. It's VJ Edgecombe. It's VJ Edgecombe.
Why?
Like clear cut. Because you got a bunch of dudes that just want to score, right? LaMelo, all he wants to do is score. Arguably the worst defensive player in the NBA right now. Brandon Miller wants to score. Now, they need a big also. They need a big, but I wouldn't take Kama Malawach here. I would take VJ Edgecombe, who is a big, strong, physical, defensive-minded wing who will get better offensively. Will he be elite? No, but I think eventually he can average 15 points a game. But he can go out there today, Rob, and guard. And he can go up. He is electric when you put him in the full court. So I would go VJ Edgecombe, and I don't even have to think about this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he might be the most special athlete that you have in this draft class. I'm not quite sold on the shooting. I think that he's good. I don't know if he's necessarily.
They have enough
great.
shooting. They have enough shooting.
They do have enough shooting,
and they have shooting.
And I do think that when you have a passer like LaMelo Ball, when you got a guy that's a lob threat like VJ Edgecombe, you're probably going to be able to scheme your way into like 4 or 6 points per game. Just doing that. VJ at this, like, for the 4th pick in this draft is the guy that I would probably be. I'm with you there. That's the one that you take the bet on there. Utah Jazz at number 5. They got Lauri Markkanen. They got a couple of interesting pieces there.
No, they have Lauri Markkanen. They have Lauri Markkanen. You could stop there. That's what they have.
I was trying to be nice to the Jazz.
No, they stink. They stink.
Okay, so who are you taking?
Trey Johnson. I think he gives him a score on the wing that they could use. He's not an incredible athlete, but he knows how to score. He'll be about 6'6" with shoes, so he's got good size for that position. But I would refer to Trey Johnson as a professional scorer. That's what he is. He knows how to use angles, create separation. He can shoot it from deep. He can get to the basket. He can finish. I think he could be a plus defender. I like Trey Johnson a lot. I'd go with him at Utah at 5.
Yeah. So you would take Trey Johnson. I would probably take Jeremiah Fears here if I'm the Jazz. For starters, my Trey Johnson is gone for me. He's off the board.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I would have taken him 3 with it, but I would take Jeremiah Fears because I think that if you're the Jazz at this point, you need to start taking some upside swings. And I don't know. I mean, I just don't know if Trey Johnson's the kind of guy that will end up being an all-star caliber player. Like Jeremiah Fears could very well end up being a backup point guard for 5 years in the NBA and then out after a second contract, right? Jeremiah Fears is also another guy that reclassified, right, and moved up and is only 18 years old and is 6'4" and was a guy that put up huge numbers as a player that should be a senior in high school, kind of like Cooper Flagg. Has the potential to kind of be a primary point guard long-term. And to me is the guy where you have a chance to maybe one day have an all-star caliber point guard there. Maybe. I don't know if it happens. Probably not. But I think that you take the upside swing here if you are the Utah Jazz, because I mean, you got to start betting on upside at some point, right? Like you got to find a way. He's going to have minutes available to him to play. So I would take Jeremiah Fears.
Pick. I like your Fears pick there. And I'll transition to Washington at 6 for the same reason. These two teams, even though it didn't work out for them this year in the lottery, I think you're probably going to have to suck again, unfortunately. I think you're going to have to suck again. And even if now, you're going to – I mean, that neither team has anything. I mean, what do you have? Jordan Poole in Washington and Alex Sarr? I mean, you're going to stink again. Jeremiah Fears is a year away. I mean, there's a lot of NBA people that I've talked to that say he should spend next year in the G League because he's got to get stronger. But I think Washington, Utah, those are places that probably not only can afford to take him, need to take a guy with high upside that's probably not ready so they can lose again next year, get another chance at a big-time player, and really just reload completely through the draft because they're not going to be able to do it through free agency.
Yep, 100%. Look, I'm taking for Washington for 6. I'm taking Ace because he's the best player on the board, and I don't think you can let him drop past that. 7 is when it starts getting interesting, right? Because 7 is when you kind of get to the Pelicans. You made it clear. You made this point, which was an interesting point I didn't even think about. The Pelicans sent Zion Williamson to the lottery, which makes it clear, at least in your mind, that they're probably going to try to keep building around him. So who do you take to help with the future of Zion Williamson? Is it Kaman Malawach? Is it another Duke freshman, Con Knippel? What are you doing here if you are the Pelicans?
It's one of those two, right? It's one of those two Duke guys. I don't know. I was leaning towards Kaman Malawach before because they need a big. They could use a guy like him, but they could also use a big-time shooter and a young guy and maybe move off of C.J. McCollum. So I think you're deciding between the two Dukies, not named Cooper Flagg, if you're New Orleans, to go with another Dookie in Zion Williamson. I would probably go Con Knippel here. I would probably go Con Knippel and see if I can move off of C.J. McCollum or even keep C.J. McCollum for the first half of the year. And then see if you can move them.
Yeah, I would take Con as well. I'm very high on Con. Like I told you this when the Sixers are picking. I would consider taking him with the 3rd pick there. I don't think he has near the upside of the 4 guys that were just picked in front of him from Trey, VJ, Jeremiah, or Ace. But I think that he has as high of a floor as anybody in this draft. Like I just think he's one of these guys where you look up in 12 years and Joe Ingles is still playing in the NBA. And that's kind of what I see Con Knippel's career arc being, something similar to that. So yeah, I would take Con 7 as well. Brooklyn with the 8th pick, one of a couple of first-round picks. I think they have 4 first-round picks in this year's draft, right? 8th being the first one that they get. Who are you taking, Goodman?
So I'm going to go with a little bit of a surprise here. I'm going to go with Jace Richardson here if I'm Brooklyn. I'm going to roll the dice and take a point guard, a scoring point guard who has just scratched the surface of what he can be. Nobody thought he'd be a one and done. We saw him at Michigan State, and he was a guy who is electric. He was able to really score from pretty much all 3 levels. But he could heat up in a hurry. I think he'll learn the point guard position. He's only about 6'1", I think. So he's athletic like his dad, not quite as athletic, but he's athletic. And I think, again, if you're Brooklyn, you roll the dice in a guy that could be a high upside player, and I think that's Jace Richardson for me.
All right, so I think this is a tough spot if you're the Nets. I don't hate the Jace Richardson pick. I think that you're kind of hoping that Jeremiah Fears falls to the 8th pick. That's probably what you're going to do in here. I'm going to go with Colin Murray Boyles. I like Colin Murray Boyles. I don't know how you feel about him. You don't like him?
I don't like that pick. I don't like it at all. At all.
You don't like anything that I do, which actually makes me feel like this is probably something.
I like some of your picks, and I understand your Ace Bailey thing because I was there before you were. I was there a year ago. I'm like, hey, I don't trust Ace Bailey. I worry about if you miss on him, and he is that good, which he's shown flashes. But Colin Murray Boyles, to me, no, 6'6.5", undersized, big. Nah, that doesn't do it for me if I'm Brooklyn.
Yeah, but you're getting a guy that's a wing. You're getting a guy that's switchable. You're getting a guy that's a really good defender. You're getting a guy that's going to end up being a good piece. And you have a number of other picks in this draft. The biggest thing for me is I'm not, and we could talk about this in a little bit, but I'm not on the Kaman Malawach train. I think that is I'm not sold on him, right? And I don't love Kasparas Yakashonis either. So it's kind of like this is a weird spot to be drafting in. I guess is the biggest thing. And maybe, you know what, maybe can I actually, I'm going to rewrite this. I'm changing my pick. Can I change my pick?
Yeah, you can change your pick. Yeah. Who you going?
Give me Derek Queen. I'm taking Derek Queen.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I'm taking Derek Queen. I think Colin Murray Boyles could be a backup at the end of the day. I think he could be a rotation undersized 4. That's what I see him as. Maybe I'm crazy here, but I don't understand the people putting him in the lottery. To me, I would go Derek Queen out of him 100 out of 100 days.
Yes, you're right. That was I got to look further down my my list of players here. Toronto
You're
at number
good.
9.
You're good. So number 9, again, we got a Toronto team with a couple guys that are, shot challenged, right? I mean, you're playing RJ Barrett a lot. You're playing Scotty Barnes a lot. Brandon Ingram can shoot. So it's hard to, like, Malawach here is a hard one. Like, I want to take him, but I'm like, does he really fit in Toronto? I would go Asa Newell here. And I know it's a little bit of a reach, but man, I love this kid's potential. I think he could be a guy who averages like 18 and 8 in the league in a few years. I really do. He's skilled. He plays hard. He runs the court. He rebounds. Man, I just think he's underrated. I think he's vastly underrated. I would take him somewhere around here, and I think he's a great fit in Toronto.
So I like where your thinking is, right? And the logic kind of extends to who I would take here. And this might be a stretch, but he's a guy that I think is going to end up climbing some boards here as you get through the workout process and get through the draft process. Carter Bryant from Arizona. I think that when you put him next to like a Scotty Barnes, you put him next to Brandon Ingram, like all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of length and a whole bunch of athleticism and a guy that I think will, like, I'm just buying everything about Carter Bryant. I think that he's one of those guys where the trajectory is kind of going like this. So I'm taking Carter Bryant, number 9 overall. I think that he's a guy that's going to sneak his way into the top 10 before things are all said and done. Houston with the 10th pick is a really, really interesting one because I think Houston, we all kind of saw them as like the next best up and coming team in the West, right? And then all of a sudden the Spurs get the number 2 pick and things kind of change their trajectory. And now it's like, what do? Do you try to use this pick to go get you Giannis? Do you try to draft to plug some of the holes that you currently have in your roster? Like, what are you doing right now for your Houston? Because I think that they're at a little bit of an inflection point in terms of where they are.
Yeah, I'd probably take Malawach here. Steven Adams isn't getting any younger. They've got some really good pieces. Fred VanVleet, I think it's a team option that they'll have to pick up for a boatload of money. You still have Dylan Brooks. You got Amen Thompson, who's been terrific this year, has come along a lot quicker. Jalen Green. I think the one area you look at right now is, and you got Sengun up front too, who can score as a big, but give him a little bit of help, give them some more shot blocking protection. And you won't need Malawach to do too much, but I think he fits a need for the Houston Rockets. So I would take Malawach here.
Yeah, that's actually I love that pick. That's the same thing that I have written down because like that's kind of what their identity is, right? Like if you have Amen Thompson and you have Fred VanVleet and you have Dylan Brooks and you have all of these guys where like toughness and defense is kind of what you're built around. Getting a guy that's 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan that can be one of these kind of jumbo rim protectors, I think makes a lot of sense. Portland at 11, weird spot for Portland. Who are you taking here?
Well, they just, again, they keep drafting these guards and like they don't fit great together, right? I mean, Sharp and Scoot and Simons and some of these guys, they took Klingon last year. They have Ayton. They got a lot of guys, but it just doesn't seem like it's translating. You could go with another upside guy and go with another, like maybe go with a big wing. And if you do, I'm choosing between Liam McNeely and Will Riley, and they're completely different. Like, could they be more opposite? Liam McNeely and Will Riley, right? Will Riley is this guy that's got the highest upside, one of them in the entire draft. They're both wings. Liam McNeely is not overly athletic, but like you could plug him in tomorrow and he could help Portland. I think I roll the dice because I'm Portland. I think you got to take these risks and hope you hit it with somebody. Like Liam McNeely's a really good player, but like I feel like you can get a Liam McNeely type in free agency. I would take a shot and go here with a Will Riley and see if you hit it with an all-star down the road.
It's pretty wild that we're here right now and you're picking Will Riley over Yakashonis after all of the hype that Yakashonis got throughout the season in terms of what he could be. That you're picking Will Riley over Yakashonis. And I don't hate it. I wouldn't mind seeing them just kind of go with like the highest player on their board. I'm going to take Colin Murray Boyles here. This is where I'm going to pick him because I do think he's a
You
guy.
sure
that,
you don't want another mulligan on him?
No more mulligans on this one.
You're going to keep
no more mulligans on this one. I'm going to keep him on this one, right? No trading on this one.
Good for you. Okay.
All right. Chicago at 12.
Be happy to hear that. The Bulls, they need everything too. I mean, they legitimately, they drafted Buzelis last year. He was pretty good this year. He was pretty good, but this is a team, and like it just feels like they're always in kind of purgatory, right? Like they were good for a little while. Now you look at that roster and you're like, holy shit, it is underwhelming. To me, I think I'd probably go with a Derek Queen here and give them somebody they know they can count on, that they can kind of build around. A super skilled big who you could throw the ball to in the post. And, he's also more athletic than people realize. So I would go with Derek Queen here for Chicago as a big that is going to produce, also has a pretty high upside.
Give me Yegor Demon in this spot. Give me Yegor Demon. And I don't mind adding another big athletic Eastern European guy to go along with your boy Matas. I think that it's you're taking a swing here, right? Because of the how thin he is and because of some of the shooting question marks that are there. But when you can get a 6'9" point guard that can make a lot of those reads, that has played a high level of basketball for a long time, I think that's worth taking a swing on. And if it all comes together, like I think that this dude is a potential top 5 or 6 talent in this draft in terms of what his ceiling can be. So I would take Yegor Demon in the spot. Who are you taking for the Hawks? 13th.
I'm gonna try to trade Trae Young, but if I can't, I think I'm gonna take. It's a tough one. I think I'm gonna take Liam McNeely here. I am gonna take Liam McNeely here because you need some stability. You need some guys that know how to play, that can play with Trae Young. And Liam McNeely can make shots. You can plug him in right away. He can help you right away. It's funny. They have George Niang, and they're different players, Liam McNeely and George Niang. I'm not comparing them completely. But a lot of the things they do well are similar. So I'm going to go with Liam McNeely as a young guy you can develop. You could plug him in, and he could play a variety of positions. So I'm going McNeely here.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick. It's kind of along the same lines. I was going to take Danny Wolf in this spot. Big guy, can shoot it, can space the floor, can get creative with the way that you kind of run him offensively, and he doesn't have to come in and be the primary guy. So I'll take it. Danny Wolf, 13th to Atlanta. My favorite pick of this first round. I'm picking first for 14th for the Spurs because we are assuming, right, like they have to keep this pick. We're not trading these picks. Yeah. You told me I can't trade picks. I tried to trade the Philadelphia pick. I tried to trade the Brooklyn pick. You won't let me trade any picks. You know who is the best player that the Spurs can get for next season? The best player at 14th who will come in.
You're going to tell me like Walter Clayton.
No, he'll immediately come in. He will impact winning. He will make them better, and he will be a guy that is top 7 in their rotation next season when he gets on that floor. Nick Clifford from Colorado State. I think that he shooter, can pass it, is an NBA athlete without a shadow of a doubt. He's bigger than I think people realize. Really, really, really good all-around player. And the kind of guy where I think the biggest value, and this is kind of a tangent, but I think the biggest value that you're going to see from an NBA perspective when it comes to NIL is the ability to draft these 4 or 5 year guys that are finished products that can come in and can contribute day one. I think Nick Clifford is a guy that can come in and contribute day one, and putting him next to De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama, like I don't think that there's a better fit that you can find for a dude like that. Spurs take Nick Clifford.
I think actually I might have found a better fit. Danny Wolf, who's there for me. Danny Wolf alongside Victor would be fun to watch. Danny can step out. He can make shots, which is what this team will need, especially out of a big like that. He could pass the shit out of it. We know that. Danny Wolf would be fun because they're already super athletic, right? I mean, you got Victor and his length and athleticism.
What are you saying about you saying Danny Wolf's not athletic? You saying Danny Wolf's not athletic? That's
And
rude.
he's not the most athletic dude. No, he's not the most athletic dude in the world. He's definitely not. So I would take Danny Wolf here at 14.